That was the world that Jesus was in, and what did he talk about? Oh, we got to fix the world over here? I mean, this is Jesus, so listen to him if you won't listen to me. Jesus didn't do that. He said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. If you become like a child, you have a chance. If you don't, you can't. You got to be born anew. Got to be born anew. What do you think that means? It means basically you got to come over here and realize your original nature. Born anew. I and the Father are one. I am in you and you are in me. One of the things about this place is that we have a beautiful structure. So if I was going to say, imagine this structure is your body, you wouldn't be embarrassed, right? And so I love this place and the people here. I've realized that, maybe it's just because I'm getting older, that the real trick to being happy for me is to expand the happiness or the love or the peace whenever I feel it. I was talking to the new member class yesterday and I was telling them about this, that essentially I took a course called the 45-Day Challenge recently, and in that it said if you ever reach fundamental well-being, this challenge was meditation and forgiveness and a lot of good practices. But if you ever reach fundamental well-being where you just feel happy and peaceful or joyful or whatever it is that is the word you attach to it, if you ever get there, expand it. And I heard him say that, but I've now begun to practice it, and I want to recommend it to you as well. So let's say you have anything in your life that feels good, anything that is uplifting, is joyful. Let's say you know how to reach peace. And so you might go, well, I was driving my car and somebody cut me off, and I used to just get really angry, but now I've figured out how to go to peace. And so then you think, well, okay, I got away from the anger, now I'll just forget about it. No, I think a really good practice is for you to do this, which is that when you finally find that peace, however you get to it, that you expand it. It's like pizza. You're rolling out this thing. You start to spin it. You start to add pieces to it. You build this pizza pie of peace. And now it's big. It started out as just a little thing, just a ball of dough, but now you've spread it out. It's everywhere. And then the next time you're walking around and something else triggers your happiness, then you do that. You take that happiness and you spread it out like this. Or maybe you're with your beloved, and for one moment, finally, you can look at her and say, I love you, with all sincerity. Do not stop there. Spread it out. Start making it bigger. So now that when you look at her or him, you begin to feel this, I just love this. And everybody in this room, no matter how dire your moments are, has peace, love, and happiness somewhere. And so instead of making the dots on the wall, make it the whole paint. This is where we're going. We're going to peace, love, and happiness as our baseline. Now, I know it's a very challenging time for anybody who looks at the news. But there must be something in your life that goes, this is so beautiful, right? Let that be bigger than the TV, right? Hold that. Now, I have a tendency to not do what this poem asks, so I'm going to read you the poem and beg forgiveness at the same time. Don't give me the whole truth. Don't give me the sea for my thirst. Don't give me the sky when I ask for light. But give me a glint, a dewy wisp, a mote as the birds bear water droplets from their bathing, and the wind a grain of salt. I thought it was pretty, so I thought I'd keep it in. But I think we try to go for the fences here really often, and I'm going to try again today in a very short period of time. The purpose of what we're doing here is to expand what Unity has been doing for the last 130 years. What Unity has been doing for the last 130 years is telling people that there's only one presence and one power, and because there's only one presence and one power, you happen to be it. You are part of it, not all of it. You're part of it. So now there's one presence, one power, you're it. And if you change your mind, you will change your experience of the world. Either externally it will change, or you will change. But if you change your mind through prayer, meditation, affirmations, and denials, you will have a different external experience. What we did was we jumped off the number one thing, which is there is only one presence and one power, and got on to how to make your life better. It's my simple observation that in general, some things are going better, but many things, major things, are going worse. And y'all know it. And the level of anxiety of humanity in this country has gone up in the last few years and continues to rise as we see wars, fires, stock market crashes, you name it. We have a lot of news access that will cause us to see that the world, or feel that the world is going down. And I think we could do a lot with affirmations and denials and meditation to make you feel better, but I want you to feel great, right? And you can get better by changing the external world. You can do that, because that's really the game we played ever since we became semi-adult. It's like, have a goal, achieve it, and feel temporary happiness as you achieve it. You get something. How many of you done that? Oh, come on. Have you not felt happiness when you got something? And then with not much time, it could be like the next minute or it could be the next month, but somewhere along the line you're going to go, I want something else. Because what you were wanting to get was happiness, and you had it because you stopped being unhappy. You stopped being in need long enough because you got something. Right? Now that pattern you can keep up for the rest of your life, but as it says in the Matrix, Neo, you know where that goes, right? Get back in the car. And this is where the car will take you, deeper. And we'll go back not to how to make this understanding that there's only one presence, one power, to work for us in the outer world. Instead, we're now focusing on how to make the one presence, one power so true that you have happiness or joy, peace, and love just as you are, fundamental well-being. That this is the total solution. Of course, we are going to have a life, and we're going to have to do our life. We still have to cook and clean and all that stuff. We still have to work or go interact at the card table or whatever we do in our day. We still have that, but what you will have is a different experience of life. You won't be the one that needs something to change so that you can be happy. You'll be the one that's happy. Now, I don't know if that sounds good to you. Maybe you like the struggle and the loss and the sense of being unhappy and the separation between you and your beloved, meaning God. Maybe that's where you want to stay, to which this conversation is not going to work. But if you're on to this idea that the one presence is the only thing really worth shooting for now, because in a world that is degrading, wouldn't it be better to be happy independent of how the world is shaped? I want to amen on that, right? So here's how you do this. You have to realize the part of you that is always already is God. God is everything, but God in the sense of, ooh, that's really juicy God, right? Everything is God. But this is like, oh my God. That kind of God, right? And the way you do it, I've been talking about it for a few months now, the way you do it is stop putting all your attention on the outer and begin to put your attention on the awareness that is aware of it. And I would like you, for simplicity's sake, for this conversation, and maybe this conversation only, to consider that your mind and your body are really only animated by consciousness itself, and without it, they are dead. You've seen some people are dead, I'm sure. They don't have consciousness working in them. So the part that animates them is the same part that is the breath of God in the Bible that was breathed into Adam. This is what you turn your attention toward, this consciousness. Turn your attention toward this awareness, this knowing. Turn your attention on that. And how do you do that? Well, first of all, try. Now, I've had a lot of people, I think, look at me like, oh yeah, well, that doesn't make sense to me. And it may not. But I'm smarter than you. And so this is how it works. Turn your attention toward that which you are, to the one who's aware in you. And you can find it. Simple as, if I said, are you aware? You'd say, I am. And you don't have to go find a sensation or something you're aware of. You just know you're aware because you always are. You were aware when you were asleep. You were aware when you were in deep sleep. You were aware when you're talking to somebody else. Whenever any experience would come in your life, you would be aware of it. It is the awareness that we're talking about. Bring your attention to the awareness, the knowing. Bring it there. And then as you sink down into that knowing, you will go deeper and deeper into it. And there's a technique, so we'll talk about that. But you go deeper and deeper into it, and then you go, there it is, love, joy, and happiness. In me, as the basis of who you have been your whole life. But you were too busy looking out here to see if you can make something happen to give you some love, joy, and happiness. And all the while, the very pot of gold was right there inside you as you. And when you tap into your awareness and become familiar with it and get deeper and deeper into it, you realize that that awareness is shared awareness. That awareness that you have inside this form is just like the space that is inside this building. Take the walls down and it's infinite. Put the walls up and it begins to be identified with it, right? But take the walls down and it's infinite. Put the walls up and you become identified with it. Have a mind and you become mixed. Your awareness becomes mixed with your mind and your body, and you think, oh, well, I'm a limited being. Pull your attention away from the mind and the body. Pull your attention back toward the consciousness itself. And what you find is that you are pure consciousness at your core. And that pure consciousness, or pure being, might be a better way of saying it, that pure being is the same being that everybody else is sharing. Everybody. All of it. And the reason is, it's just like this room without the walls is infinite. Your consciousness without your container is infinite. And what do we call infinite consciousness? G-O-D. That is what we think God. That's what we've been looking for. So many of us thought that if we could get our karma right, if we could say our prayers right, if we could do all this stuff right, we would be able to get over here to this. And what I'm saying is, the quickest way to this is not going that way with your attention, but going this way with your attention. You look to the consciousness that is within you, which is the same consciousness that is everywhere, which is God. You look to the portal to your deepest self, to the transcendent aspect of yourself, by asking yourself a simple question: who's having this experience? And you say, I am. And you go, well, okay, I'm going to quietly listen, feel into I am. And I'm going to drop, drop, drop. And if you keep dropping, you're going to hit that pool of love, peace, and happiness. And then you're going to realize, and you'll come back up, and of course, you'll go over here and think everything's over here. Busyness, busyness, busyness. But then in the morning, the next morning, you go, who's awake this morning? I am. Okay, well, let me drop into that. No thinking, no efforting, zero efforting. I must say this, I did this for several years, efforting every time. I got nowhere. Zero efforting. Drop in. I am. Show me where that goes. Boom, 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 boom. Sea of peace and happiness. And that's who you really are. And that's who God really is. Now, metaphysically, you could say that everything is an emanation of God, and we'll go with that because I think it's true. But the juicy part of God is in here. And the peace, love, and happiness is in here. And for any of you who've been hippies, you know that the main purpose in life is peace, love, and happiness, don't you? And so when we land here, so let me ask you a hypothetical. Let's say this was so clear and so abundantly experienced in your life, or not experienced. It's not really experiencing at that level, but just there. How do you think you would act in the world over here? Would a car cutting you off bug you? Would the stock market seem important? Would the fact that someone slighted you with the way they talked to you, would any of that hold enough water that you were disturbed by it? Okay, maybe for a minute. But the baseline of you being that peace, love, and happiness that is the nature of who you are anyway. You don't have to go get it, you just need to find it. You know, we didn't have to invent numbers, we just had to find them. We had to figure out, we're finding out how the world works because we're discovering it, but it was always there. Numbers, you might say, were always there. Peace, love, and happiness is always there. And I can bet some of you don't believe me, but like I said, anyway, let's do this. And so here's, a lot of people are saying to me, we need some practical things somehow to deal with the world. And I'd say, would you rather have a fish or know how to fish? This is fishing. And when you fish in this pond, you get goldfish. You get really good things. And when you fish out here, you'll get some good things too. And you'll be cooler at it than you've ever been. I am the coolest I've ever been right now. And I'm not kidding. The reason I'm not kidding is because I've been doing this. And so when I'm with something that might be a challenge, what's true for me is that I've taken my pizza. Maybe I just had a little ball, but when it came up, I had my pizza. I spread it out, pulled it out like this, dropped some stuff on it. Oh, you know, and now I'm happy. Okay, throw me a really hard ball, and I'm really happy. How bad is it going to be? Right? Be afraid that the world is not going to work out and see how bad it will be. It will be important. It will be the only thing. This is really going badly. Right? Jesus was born into a terrible time in Israel. Terrible. Romans had control. Quislings were helping the Romans, and you couldn't trust everybody. And you know, most people didn't have enough to eat either. It was bad. It was really bad. You know, and the Romans had a simple way of persuading you to do it their way. They would put you on a piece of wood and let you die of it, of asphyxiation or exposure, and leave you to rot. That was the world that Jesus was in, and what did he talk about? Oh, we got to fix the world over here? I mean, this is Jesus, so listen to him if you won't listen to me. Jesus didn't do that. He said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. If you become like a child, you have a chance. If you don't, you can't. You got to be born anew. Got to be born anew. What do you think that means? It means basically you got to come over here and realize your original nature. Born anew. I and the Father are one. I am in you and you are in me. Do you think Jesus was over there saying, with just a little bit of effort, we might be able to shift the checkerboard over here? He might have, but basically what we remember is this. So I'm advocating, do this practice, please. Do this practice. Sometime, ask yourself, who's having this experience? Answer the question, I am, and then sit in silence with no effort, with that on as because it's a trap door. Your mind can bring you to the place, but your mind can't take you in. So you go, I am. And then you hope you open the door. Hope the door opens for you. But if you come off enough, knock and you shall find. Come often enough, it will open. You'll go to a deeper place. You'll have a sense of peace, love, and joy. Maybe it's one of those, maybe it's all three. You'll come back out. You'll spread it out like pizza. You'll hold on to it as long as you can. And the next day you'll come back. And you'll get another piece of dough and you'll spread it out like pizza. And your life will begin to have peace, love, and or happiness in it. And that becomes now your new baseline. You become the very thing you thought you wanted by having all this stuff work. You'll just be that. Then you'll still be doing this over here, but you won't be doing it like you're a loser, or like I don't have enough, or like you only will be happy if it happens, because you're already happy. It's a very cool thing to do. It's very cool to do this. And you may be slow to pick it up. It took me 20 years, but I'm giving you more than a grain of salt in the wind here. There are many ways to find out how to do this. If I'm not doing it for you, get somebody else to do it. Find out how to be happy. And then you will be happy. Let's pray. Okay, let's go back. Let's start with the walls. And inside the walls, there is consciousness. And the walls feel like they've merged somewhat with the consciousness. And your consciousness and your walls kind of now define you. But if you drop the walls, your story, your interest in other things, and just be with the consciousness, then the consciousness may begin to take its original form, which is infinite, which is happy, which is peaceful, which is love itself. Give it a shot. And so it is. Amen. I hope you got something out of today's service. We intend to bring you things that will help you in your life become more of who you want to be, give you the freedom of forgiveness and the hope of expectancy that your life will unfold in a way that brings you joy, happiness, and is a contribution to the world. If you would like to contribute to this ministry, please go to unitytriangle.org, hit the donate button, and it will lead you into an easy way of doing that. We thank you for your attention and look forward to seeing you again here.